Hello, welcome back to Circling Seattle Sports. We're doing another one of the Around the Sound. This is our daily Seattle Pro Sports Week recap show. I am planning to, tonight do a UW version of the recap show. Gonna have to figure the name out for that. As well as the UW version of our morning show, our Seattle Pro Sports Mornings. So, let's get into it. This is Tuesday, October 28th. It is 11:40, as you can see, 11:40 here at Climate Pledge Arena. It is conversion crew time. Kraken have a few days before their next game on Saturday against the New York Rangers. We'll start off with the Kraken, only team in game action today. They fall to the Montreal Canadiens by a score of 4-3 in overtime. This is a tough game. I mean, you knew that the Canadiens were good. A lot of young offensive firepower from this team, even on the back end of things, right, with their blue line and guys like Hudson. So, you knew they were going to be dangerous. Just, it doesn't help when Seattle starts out really slow. They looked sluggish. They didn't, really look as on the hop as they have in other games where their effort and their drive and their intensity has, won them the game and kind of beaten the other team down, and forced them effectively into submission or feeling like they don't want to work as hard as Seattle has. In these games. So they go down 2 early in that first period, kind of a low event second period, not a lot going on in the middle frame. Montreal gets a third. Somewhat early into that third period, 5 minutes, 55 seconds in. Alex Newhook on the power play is able to convert, and it looked kind of dead. I thought it was dead. I thought the game was going to be put away with how good, how skilled Montreal is. I didn't think that, that was a good recipe, go down 3 goals against them. But hey, Seattle stayed in the fight. They've been relentless all season long. They've showed that intensity and that effort. They seem to only do it, though, for the last about 11 minutes of this game, at least of regulation, unfortunately. Brandon Montour on the power play gets a bomb to go with the assist of Berkeley Catton and Mason Marchman on a slap shot. So Monty Mania gets Seattle on the board. I was like, okay, nice. You're not going to get shut out. Then on a snapshot with little under 5 minutes to go, Shane Wright beats Dobesh glove side with traffic out in front, puts it within a goal. I said, okay, you're in business now. You're going to have to pull the goalie and add the 6th skater. That they did. Brandon Montour gets his second a slap shot with a little under 2 minutes to play. We're all tied. Montreal did get a late push in the final few seconds. Looked a little dicey there, looked a little scary, but Kraken are able to hold that off and send us to overtime. Unfortunately, things were pretty similar to the last time these two teams met in the way of how it ended, as Cole Caulfield gets the winning goal in overtime, this time just 44 seconds in. So all the energy that had burst into Climate Pledge Arena when this game was tied and descended to overtime, by the time that folks were just kind of realizing, all right, we're getting into overtime, it's over. Nick Suzuki drops the puck off at center ice for Cole Caulfield, who comes into the zone with a head of steam, is able to get by Vince Dunn, and is able to get Joey Decord to move his feet enough to where there's room where he can tuck the puck in along the pipe. Joey tries to sit on it, tries to squeeze it, is unable to do so. Unfortunately, looks like he had it initially, but then he's, it slides over. Montreal takes the second point, and they will leave this building having won the season series for just the second time in the history of this rivalry. Seattle's won it straight up head-to-head twice, split it once, lost it once in year 3, and so now they've lost it again. It's fine. I mean, it's the 2 overtime points. That's ultimately what you'll take. I mean, the 2 overtime points in general, not 2 tonight. It is a tough one, but it's nice to see the game that Monty had, and nice for Shane to score against Montreal as well. So with the point, the Kraken sit second in the Pacific Division, still 2 points behind the Golden Knights. Tied in points with Los Angeles, but they do have the tiebreaker, it seems, in terms of point percentage, and a point ahead of Edmonton. So nice to still be in second. I mean, you get these points now, this will help you down the stretch. So nice to really nice to see them battle back, stay in the fight. The give a shit meter, if you want to use that, is high, and they're able to, force it to overtime and get that point. So we'll move it along here to our Seahawks, who, again, they're in practice. They're kind of moving things along. Sorry. Oh, yes. Here we are. The Seahawks, a little update on the team's opponent on Sunday Night Football this upcoming week with the Washington Commanders. Head coach Dan Quinn said of Jaden Daniels, their quarterback, and his hamstring injury, that he had a good rehab session on Sunday, and they plan on him being part of the practice plan for the Commanders ahead of Sunday Night Football. So I would imagine they get him back in some capacity. That'll be big for Washington. Obviously, it makes this game a lot more interesting. The other side of things is that the Seahawks are signing wide receiver / running back and return specialist Velus Jones Jr. The former Bears third-round pick spent most of his season with the Saints and now gets a fresh opportunity in Seattle. Makes you wonder a little bit about the health of wide receiver. I don't know why I keep saying that. / kick returner Derek Young, who left the last game against Houston. There hasn't been an update. Mike McDonald didn't provide any injury updates today. I imagine he'll do so tomorrow. Then in regards to the upcoming trade deadline, which Jake and I talked about on our Seahawks show, Circling the Nest, there was a question about, the Seahawks being active. It's an interesting market. It's not like there's too much in terms of true, difference makers that Seattle can get out there in the positions of need. But Mike McDonald did say we're always active. You know how John rolls. We're in everything. We're constantly trying to do what's best for us. Sometimes that's through acquisition. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I imagine there is a trade or two. I don't imagine it's a blockbuster, so to say. But it's going to be interesting. So that's on the Seahawks front. On the Sounders and Reign front, the Sounders, I believe they're getting back. I can check the training schedule from Minnesota after their loss on Monday in the shootout, penalty shootout in Game 1 of their Round 1 MLS Cup playoffs matchup against Minnesota United. They're off today. Off tomorrow, the 29th, Wednesday the 29th. So the Reign had open media training today. I said that I would get out there. I was up till 4 a.m. recording Around the Sound and Seattle Pro Sports Mornings. So I did not end up getting out there. But the Reign and Sounders had more of a front office kind of announcement. They welcomed global brand leader Ro Vega as Chief Marketing Officer today. He's joined the enterprise as Chief Marketing Officer, overseeing brand, content, marketing, communications, and fan insights across both of the clubs. The press release states him as a global brand leader with nearly 2 decades of experience at the intersection of sport, entertainment, and culture, so almost as long as I've been alive. So that'll be interesting. He had previous senior leadership roles with Nike, Beats by Dre, and The Trade Desk, where he directed global campaigns that contributed to the modern current of sports marketing. It's also credited with leading efforts for marquee properties such as the FIFA World Cup, Olympic Games, NBA All-Star Weekend, alongside partnerships with top global clubs including Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, and Bayern Munich. So that's interesting. He was selected from a candidate pool of more than 500 applicants, including leaders from Fortune 100 companies and global sports brands. So that's interesting. I do wonder what this will mean in terms of change for marketing, creative, and brand. See, the Sounders have always seemingly had a great job in terms of marketing and social. So I do wonder what sort of change this will mean. I do hope that the Reign get a boost. You want more people to get news for the Reign, and know about the club. So we'll be interested to see about that. To wrap us up today, there's not too much going on. The Storm didn't really have anything going on. Seawolves, PWHL Seattle. There was one piece of information I do want to drop off with PWHL Seattle. Our friends at Women's Pro Hockey Seattle shared that let me find it here. Women's Pro Hockey Seattle shared today that Played Again Sports in Linwood has the PWHL Seattle jerseys available. So that is cool. If you want to go and see them in person or get them in person, you could do that now. Is that Colorado, a bunch of the Mariners players are posting their end of season photo dumps on Instagram. And Josh Naylor commented on Cal's and said, "My neck still hurts, but it was worth it all," referencing Cal doing the head bump. I think it was after Game 5 ALCS, after his home run. "See you around, my friend," with a heart emoji. "Will always be rooting for you. Godspeed." And Mariners fans has sent them into a frenzy because obviously the wording is past tense, as if he's not coming back. I'm not going to take any stock in it. It is an Instagram comment. I don't know. It's an Instagram comment. I'm going to not take too much stock in it. We will see how things get going. I'll start worrying about this stuff after the World Series, when this stuff actually matters, and then when we get actually into free agency and stuff like that. It certainly could be a joke, but I'm not worried about it at this current point in time. I feel like you kind of say this stuff anyway at the end of the season. So, we'll see. We will see. That will do it for That will do it for the Seattle Pros Around the Sound, Circling Seattle Sports' Pro Seattle Sports recap show for daily consumption. I'm tired. I was up till 4 a.m. I'm tired, man. So we'll go home and do the YouTube version of these, and we'll get the Seattle Pro Sports morning show set up. Till we see you next time, take care of yourselves, be well, and do whatever you can to make today a great day.
Hello there, everybody. Charles Hamaker here with Circling Seattle Sports. I'm joined by Jen Barnes of Rough and Tumble that we happen to be at right now. Yeah. Jen, why don't you talk to me a little bit about what we're announcing today, which is our partnership.
I'm so excited about this. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I think all of us here at Rough and Tumble are big fans of what you and your team at Circling Seattle Sports does. And so, I know you know this, but when you came to me with this idea, it just seemed pretty natural. And it's not just me. I think a lot of people in the sports community in Seattle also really respect you and your team. So it's exciting to kind of see these two things melding together, and we're really excited to start implementing some of the things and then hopefully seeing you guys a little bit more often.
Yeah, and so with what Jen says about seeing us more often, we've got a few things in the works, but you'll see watch parties here. We'd like to do a few different of our community drives, which you'll hear about here in a little bit. From now, we've got to make our announcements one at a time. I can't drop everything.
Not everything all at once.
But this has been a home for a lot of our team, whether it's myself, our friend, our photographer Liz is behind the camera. Liz is here often, so our team has kind of adopted this place kind of like our own since I saw you at our soft launch. So, it's been great to have that support. And in a lot of ways, and part of the reason I wanted to do this was the Rough and Tumble embodies a lot of what Circling Seattle Sports wants to do. Obviously with women's sports, with the Storm and the Reign, but just being, having the game on.
Yeah.
Every game on.
Yep.
How much of that did you see a line kind of even before this idea was mentioned when I first met you?
I think it's always felt like that. I mean, you and your team were here on opening night, and you just feel like you're part of the space, so it felt like really natural. And the fact that you actually cover all of the sports really makes your group stand out. So you are always covering all the rain games, all the storm games. You'd have women's softball, you'd have women's basketball, you'd have women's hockey. We love it. So all of those things, and obviously passionate M's fans, passionate Hawks fans, and passionate Kraken and Sounders fans. So really, from our perspective, those two things meshed really well.
So, I mean, you heard it from Jen herself, but this will be our home for all of these events, whether it's you can't make it to these games at home, we're always going to direct you to Rough and Tumble, and obviously the games on the road as well. All of these, I mean, we're talking about the rain. They've got their schedule out finally,
Yeah, yep.
but this will be our home for that.
Great.
The storm games on the road, this is our home.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes.
I love it.
And when I mentioned it to Jen, when I first had this idea come up, I had this idea come up wearing a pink wig.
Yes, you did.
Ahead of Megan Rapinoe's final regular season home game for the Reign this past year.
Yeah.
I told her it's because I wanted this to feel genuine.
Yep.
I wanted a connection to feel genuine, and it does. So
Yeah.
that's what this is. Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, and I'm so excited to finally announce this partnership.
I can't wait.